Hello. I want us to talk about something that I consider important, and I am not sure that we pay enough attention to it. I want us to talk about gratitude and joy. For those who are Christians, the Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength, which means it's not momentary like happiness, but it's something that is more deep-rooted, and it drives hope and aspiration. It keeps us strong, even in our trying moments, because you have to dig deep sometimes to make yourself joyful despite the situation around you. And joy and gratitude are related in the sense that a heart of gratitude is usually a heart that is filled with joy as well in many ways. Gratitude in particular is something we need to pay attention to, because it's so easy to take from people, whether it's material, physical, whether it's just a help or it's financial, whatever way people give us value. If we learn to show gratitude in a way that we can bring joy to the people to whom we're showing gratitude for whatever they do, we would realize that we increase for ourselves an opportunity to even receive more in the future. Not acting grateful, but genuine gratitude. And honestly, the reality is, when you're genuinely grateful and you show gratitude, the people to whom you show the gratitude, they can tell. It's something that you can't hide. It's easy to discern. A few days ago, I was watching a clip. I think it was on Instagram. And there was this little cute girl. She was probably, I don't know, like 2 years old or something. And I think her dad just bought her a lovely dress. She was busy posing around, moving around with the dress, very joyful and excited about her dress. And then she jumped on her father and gave him such a joyful hug. The reality is, that father, remembering that moment and the joy that gratitude attitude of that young girl, without being, taking it for granted or thinking it's her right and all of that. The joy she brought to her father, and you could see it in his smile, his expression, the hug. Do you think it's possible for him to go past another dress tomorrow that he thinks that, oh, my daughter would love this, and he can afford it? Sometimes he might not even be able to readily afford it. But just to relieve that moment of bringing the joy to the life of that young girl, and the joy that her own gratitude brought to him, he will buy her another one. So a heart of gratitude carries favor. When you show gratitude for the things that people do for you, no matter how little, just your gratefulness and your appreciation without taking it for granted, without having a sense of entitlement. It's so easy for a child to feel entitled. Oh, my daddy bought me a dress, and that's it. And you will excuse her and say, oh, she's only a child. But this was a child showing us, exactly what gratitude does. I remember the story of a young woman who works with someone, and she had come to work for them with a medical condition. She had congenital cataract. And at this point, she was in her 20s. She came with that cataract, having lived with it all her life, and being given a name in her village where she came from because they didn't understand it and thought it was something else, you know, and all of that. And she was always made to feel like, you know, as she explained, it robbed her of her self-confidence and self-assurance. But this family that she went to work with decided that, you know, from the day she came, they said to her, if you stay, you know, we're sure that we can fund the surgery to help you get rid of this. For her, that was like, really? But anyway, sometime down the line, they did go ahead to ensure that she saw the right specialist and all that, and that the set of surgeries that were required were carried out, and that she got her confidence back because she no longer had one gray eye and one eye with a black pupil. She now looked perfect. And her gratefulness, her attitude of gratitude, according to the family, was extraordinary. And it can only endear her to them more. Such that when she had to go and bury her grandmother, she had never flown before, and she was going to take the public transport to go from Lagos to somewhere in the south of Nigeria, which was going to take her about 24 hours on the road. You know, as a young woman, she was exposed to a lot of risks, having to sleep on the way and all of that, being raped and all of those things. So this family decided that, you know what, it's only 1 hour to the city closest to her village, and 1 hour drive from that city to her village. Instead of a 24 hours journey, she could have a 2 hours trip, and she would be in her city. So they chose to buy her a ticket, and she flew for the first time in a plane. And to them, it was rewarding to see her attitude of gratitude, her message, her joyfulness, tearfully being thankful for that which they did for her. What do you think will happen? They will do more. Because that same person, according to the family, lost her father not long after her grandmother's funeral, and she had to go again. Obviously, she didn't think they would spend that kind of money on her to fly the second time. But I don't think they thought about it. You know, it was an almost foregone conclusion for them that they bought her a ticket to go and to come back again. In reality, look around you. How many gratitude showing do you owe? How many people have been kind to you one way or the other? How many people have supported you in their quietness, with their resources, with their help? Sometimes it's even that people you feel have a responsibility. Oh, your brother works. He's making sacrifices to support you. It's not your right. Don't forget, you know, we have this black tax culture because we don't have a social security system. Our social security is based on families. And therefore, the member of the family that is doing well or has a job and has income is paying for many other things for other members of the family. Sometimes we get used to it. We do not realize that there's a lot of opportunity cost for those who make that sacrifice. Whatever money they're giving you, they could be using for something else. Whatever money they're giving you, they could be using to build wealth. They could be using to buy land. They could be using to buy themselves something. And every time somebody gives you something, they have an option of something else they could use it for. Whether it's their time, whether it's their resources, whether it's their talent, whether it's their knowledge, just develop the attitude of thankfulness. When you're grateful, people will do more for you. Not just the people that you're grateful to, other observers are watching as well. They see your attitude, and you bring joy on both sides. Your heart will be filled with joy when you show gratitude. And the people to whom you're grateful, you also bring them joy because you make them know that they've done something good, for which they're happy they make this sacrifice in order to do it for you. Try it out. A heart of gratitude is an investment. An expression of gratefulness, an expression of gratitude brings joy to both parties. And it helps to lift both sides up and adds immense value. But more than that, it's the right thing to do. How many times are we grateful to God? Even to God. You wake up in the morning. Really? How many people slept the night before that didn't wake up? You can run. Yeah, we can take it for granted. But some people sleep, wake up, and they just can't move. A lot of possibilities. So it's the little things that are not so little. We didn't know the value of oxygen because we breathe. We wake up and we continue to breathe. We're sleeping and we're breathing until COVID came. And we realized, there's a price on oxygen. Every cylinder of oxygen costs so much. And people died because they couldn't afford it. And then we realized that, oh gosh, God has given me how many cylinders of oxygen in my 62 years of life. I don't know if I could afford it if we add up the cost for every day of my life. And obvious. Think about it. Some people will pay any price to have a child. Some have just been pregnant and have just delivered children. We're in good health. So much to be grateful for. You walk on the street, there's someone that needs help, and you reach out and you give the help. As much, whether the person is grateful or not, just remember, you had grace to be able to give. So we can be grateful to God to even be in a position to give. I remember once I was lamenting to God that, why am I the one that is always doing something for people? And then the Lord asked me a question. There are only two positions you can be: a giver or a receiver. Which one would you rather be? The one that the Lord provides for so she can give, or the one that lacks so she needs to go and ask for? I learned my lesson on that day, to be grateful for my own position, my opportunities, and the blessings of the Lord in my household. So, let's be grateful. Let's live a life of gratitude and of joy. And no matter what we see, let's find a reason to rejoice. Because life always offers us options. Every day is not Christmas, but we can choose joy no matter what the situation looks like around us. Have a fun day. Find a reason to rejoice. Find a reason to be joyful. And make your list of gratitude debt. Just think, how many people do I owe the debt that I've not shown them that I'm grateful? Make your gratitude list. And one by one, make that call or make that visit. Surprise some people. I remember on my 40th birthday, I sat down and I thought to myself, who are those who along the path of my years up till this point have been instrumental in any way to be a blessing to me, to have helped me to get to where I was at that point in my journey. I made a list of them. I bought volumes of books, and I wrote a letter to each one of them. I included that letter in the volumes of books. There were business books that I bought, and to each one of them, I delivered it to say thank you for being an encourager of my journey up to this moment. As I clock 40, I'm grateful for the role you played, for helping me at this point and at this point. And I listed some of the things that they did to add value to my life. You know, I know that they were surprised, because I remember one of them saying to me, you know, I can't think of how many people I've helped in many different ways, but I can't remember anyone that has made the effort to do what you've just done. And I still have a tight, big brother relationship with that person till tomorrow. But those moments count, and they make people stand up for you when it matters. Have fun, be joyful, but be grateful. Thank you.